Let's play darts. Ladies and gentlemen, 25 there with the first dart, starting off the new year in traditional manner, hitting the outer part of the board, which actually results in 0 points. So a little bit of education here nice and early in 2025. How are we all doing today? The shirt is on, Samson Does Darts. Let's play darts. So we know what that means. If you've seen this before, and you've seen this orange tee, and orange is Spanish for orange. That is actually it's not, I think it's laranja. Okay, so it's a shaky start so far in 2025. And we've actually going to announce the average, my average that I finished on in December for my games against Dartbot. So that's what we do when you see this shirt, is a little average announcement. And I love to preface the average announcement by telling you that averages aren't that important. But I like to do it anyway because it lets you guys know how pants I am. But I will be honest, I am less pants these days. So if you only watched the first sort of few months and then you turned it off and got on and did more interesting things with your lives and you came back, you'll be shocked that I'm not absolutely horrendous. Although I did just throw that dart off the board. But that's better. Let's have a little warm up. We'll go around the clock on doubles. But shall we get this out of the way? Today, because it's the end of the year, we're into a new year, it's important to reflect. It's important to reflect on the year past. It's important to set goals for the year ahead. For many reasons. One, you should do that anyway. But B, I'm trying to get better at darts. So if you're trying to get better at anything, you have to look at where you've gone right, where you've gone wrong, what you can change going forward, and then plan accordingly. So I put most of my progress down to just being very focused on trying to get better. If you just turn up here and throw darts because you enjoy it, good for you, that's great. But if you're turning up wanting to get better, you have to go into every session, whether it be on the hockey against your mates, whether it's down the pub in the league, whether it's just on your own at home, every session has to be focused on improving. And I've just tried every month to try and get a little bit better at a couple of things. The first 6 months of training, I was so overcome with so much good advice and so many problems in my technique that I couldn't really handle trying to change everything. I had to just focus on a few things. And once I learned that, just focus on certain things, I found myself improving. Now, the other things I found quite important was I'd go periods of stagnation where I wasn't really improving for several months, pretty much like keeping my standard at the same level. And then I'd have a month where I jumped up massively, and I think it was August I jumped up massively. And then I jumped up again massively in November. Those 2 key months, and then I've been fortunate enough to maintain it since. So let's do the average, shall we? Let's just announce that. So my average in November, I think, was 49. I think it was 49 in November. I've got it right on my hand because brain is, small. So 14.5 I beat Dartbot level 6 over the course of the month, which means I have been promoted and I say goodbye to Dartbot level 6 and we welcome in to our live Dartbot level 7. So I haven't played him yet, but I haven't even met him. What else? So 16.9% on my checkouts, which I was quite pleased with. I want to bring that up, obviously. And my overall average was 51, which is insane. Now, I'm not walking around saying I'm a 50 average player, mainly because I said averages aren't important. And when you're playing a high-level Dartbot, he's not going to give you enough opportunities to check out and miss and miss and miss and miss. That's why, I say I'm a 51. It's good. The reason why it's good is that I've been comparing it the same way every month since the start. So you do see a real the progress is real. When I started all the way back in April, I looked at my stats on the dart counter then. My average was 38. So since April, so what's that? 8 months of training. What's possible? Well, I went from 38 average to 51. Okay, so it can be done. I'm so pleased with it. I will be honest. I am really pleased with the progress. You know how much I want to try and get better. I just want to fulfill my potential, try and get as good as this as I can. And it's not for anyone else. I don't want to try and pick up a local trophy or anything like that. I'm not really doing it for that or to beat my mates. It's just a personal quest to see how good I can get at this wonderful game. And what a game it is. I've just watched MVG, the Callan Rids. What a match. I mean, fair play to MVG. Tremendous performance. Absolute vintage MVG against a tremendous Callan Rids. I think he averaged 103 and that he averages ridiculous numbers all tournament and then puts in a big performance. And sometimes you just bump into a player that is on top form as well, and that's MVG. Fair play to him. Right, 18s. So gone from a 38 average to 52. So that is a 14 points. That's nearly a point, 2 points a month. And that's all good in that. But I think it comes also down to how do you feel you're throwing? What changes? If you look at those first videos, I've watched a few clips from my first month just to really see. I was trying to dig out my average actually, what I announced then, but then I realised I could check the app. But I looked at those and I thought, wow, I do have improved. And so technically, it's all about I'm trying to get better technically. So throwing straighter darts like that. My arm is totally different. How I draw back, I'm quite happy with it. I don't think the pace of my draw back and my throw is where it needs to be. But the actual alignment that I'm throwing now is miles better. I think my body movement, even though I do move my body still, I move it less. And I think that's been the one constant throughout, is that I've been trying that's always been the case every month. I'm just trying to move my body a little bit less. Probably never get rid of it totally, I don't know. But it's certainly less. Let's get going, by the way, guys, while we reflect. And then we'll look forward. Double one. So on to the things I want to improve as well. That's shocking, that. That's shocking too. Right, there are 3 horrendous darts there. And not because they landed terribly. Technique. So to run through technique, the first thing anybody should do, and the first thing I did, which I think was the right thing to do, was to sort out a pre-shot routine. And when you do a pre-shot routine, what does that mean? It means everything you do before you lift the dart, okay, or throw the dart. So pre-shot routine, if we go through my throw here and what's gone well, what hasn't, what needs to get better. First of all, alignment on the oki. Now, if I'm honest with you guys, I've been playing around with this for about 2 months, moving from one side to another. I don't really know where I should be. Where I am at the moment is I'm left-handed. So I'm slightly here to the right, my right, facing the board. And as I lift my arm up, where my arm is pretty center if I'm trying to aim centrally. My elbow, however, is all the way out here. If you watch me straight on, unusual that that elbow is very far out. Think about Bobby George. But he's pulling his over to his dominant eye. I'm pulling mine right down. Right, I've just forgotten that we're throwing at double one. That happens a lot. But yeah, pre-shot routine. So know where you need to be on the oki. So for me, that is somewhere that needs improvement. I don't know really where I'm standing, where I should be standing. I've settled here, but I had a lot of time where I was throwing on this side. I've tried throwing quite far on this side because of my elbow. Obviously, because my elbow's out, my arm is almost in a... If it was straight, it'd be quite straightforward, where you could just line it up, right? Because I'm in this position, I'm not 100% sure where I should be. So that needs improvement. Right, so but apart from that, we're getting to the occupant position. Raise the arm only when the body is completely in the right position. So you never want to be moving the arm up and then moving your body around. So that's the first thing I did. Right, we're meant to be throwing double one. Let's try that. Okay. Could be one of those sessions, really. I think a lot of my mouth is very warm. My arm isn't. Okay, and then bringing this arm up. Now, the pull back, I'm still pulling it back. When I started, I was pulling it all the way back almost by this ear. And a lot of after throw analysis, that was obvious where I need to shorten it up. Now, I still do have quite a big sort of movement here, drawback and push through. But we're getting there. I've been fiddling around with grip. I think I could potentially be a rear gripper. I don't think the grip that I've been using all year will be the one that I have forever. That's how I hold the dart there. And I found myself, when I I know it's a subtle difference, but if you see there, that's how I've been throwing it, right? I do experiment every now and then, pulling these fingers back, leaving that first one resting on the point there. But this one comes back, and this finger is sometimes on the shaft itself there. And I'm finding myself a bit more accurate with it, if I'm honest. Right, let's try that for double one. Not throwing great, but you see the point there. The only reason, I'll tell you why I haven't been doing that all the time, is as much as I've been enjoying these ASP Gen 2s, grip-wise, I just find it difficult to get this grip into place every time I'm picking up the dart. So it's inconsistent. That's the only reason I'm doing it. So if I have to do it, which let's do it for these three darts, put this thing in, and then I'm constantly fiddling until I'm throwing it, which I don't really want to be doing. Shocking darts today, guys, apologies, but sometimes these sessions where I'm just chatting a lot, and this is a big chat session really, because it's the start of the year, it's reflection time. It's reflection. Now, one thing I want to be doing in 2025 is follow through. Can we nail follow through? It's been the kryptonite to me all year really, and for most of the year I've sort of even just pretended that follow through isn't important, just because I don't want to talk about it or think about it, because I just can't do it consistently. But I think a lot of practice training, just following through, because constantly I throw a dart and my hand is already picking up the second dart. If you watch any of the top players or any half-season player, they'll do this, right? See that? They'll like hold that arm, then pick up the dart. Hold the dart, like that. Whereas I'm picking up the dart immediately, so there's no follow-through. It's just one motion. So that's something I need to massively improve. I need to work out this oki situation, where I should be standing. Finally. And for January itself, for January incoming, I want to try and maintain my level here. Maintain where I'm at while trying to sort of tighten up things. Because I've improved so much really in the last few months. It's as much as you want to keep pushing sort of the pedal to the floor, I'm also aware I want to manage my own expectations here. Port. So one thing we'll do this month is I'm going to play a match. We'll obviously play against Dartbot level 7 to see how I struggle there. But I'm going to play a match against Dartbot level 1. Why would you do that? You're going to win. Yes, I will win. I will promise you I will beat Dartbot level 1. However, that will show you what my real sort of average is, because I'm going to get as many darts as I like at doubles if I score fairly well enough. And that's when we're really going to see what level I'm at. So that was, somebody suggested that because that's a great idea, really. Oh, 2. Lovely. Port. So that's definitely something that we're going to be doing. See how that gets on. I need some ideas for other games. If you like the checkout games that I dig out every now and again, things like that. Should I get the old hiking boots on and get out and do some outside stuff for fun? Maybe do that once a month, not sure. Things like that, really. I think this year might be the year I actually play online, get some online action in. 4. Lovely stuff. It's taken long enough. It's starting to, the darts starting to go where I want them to. What are we on here? 5. Poor. Not bad. Good news for you guys is that the wobble of the board, I understand it's the biggest pain for everybody involved. For me, people say, how can you play with that? I don't notice it at all. I've always played on it as well, so that obviously helps. But you've invested your time in me, so I'm going to invest my money in you. And I've purchased the Winmau stand. So this is a Koto stand, which is, really stood us in good stead, considering I've made it fall over several times on this channel, and it's survived. It's even been up on the hike, been up with the sheep. So credit to it. Thank you for your time, Mr. Koto. But we're going to get a Winmau stand, which I've only heard good things about. So that'll be interesting to see if we can straighten up this, reduce this wobble on this board. Other things that I think have really helped me improve this year is like focus, concentration on the area you're trying to hit. Such a little thing like that, but it actually makes a huge difference, as you can see. Ooh, nearly a hat trick. Another wonderfully kind subscriber, Shane, got in contact with me, said, I've got these darts I don't use, would you fancy giving them a go? I said, for goodness me, of course. So there's some Littlers coming, there's some Bolides coming. I wanted to try those. They're probably the dart that people have recommended me most. I think it's the 03s, not sure. But they're coming in the post, so I can have a throw with those. We'll do a video on that to see how those arrows fly out of the Samson hand. But yeah, that's exciting. Thank you for that, by the way. Really appreciate it. 8. Port. Darn. 2 good darts like that. You've got a nail in between there. Nail it. But yeah, I think that's everything really. I don't know if there's anything else to report to you guys. Pour that. Pour again. I think I've become a little bit more positive as the year's gone on. Had some negative moments. I mean, some of you put up with some nonsense this year. Right, come on, 8. Unlucky. Right, we'll leave it there. That's the month of December run through. That's probably the year summary. Touched on what we're going to be trying to do for 2025. I mean, this time next year, if I can get a 60 average by the end of the year, I think that's a realistic challenge. That would be incredible to get to 60s. That's like your entering intermediate level, I think. you've passed beginner at that stage. Because I'm definitely a beginner still, 100%, even touching on a 50 average here on dart counter. I would imagine my real average is more like mid-40s, and that's how I feel as a player. But you know what? None of this matters. What matters is, are you in yourself improving? Have I got better? Am I having fun? Yes and yes to both of those questions. So that's great. That's all that matters. Great sport. Love it. Enjoy it. See you next time.